the story of my life.
Hello, my name is Peter Delane. Welcome to this director's commentary for Only When I Laugh. Piece of work that I jumped at the chance of directing. And I think in this opening shot you can see that I'm attacking head-on sort of understaffing and overcrowding that's rife in the NHS. Wanted to shoot the thing in black and white, but not allowed. I do take great pride, though, when people say, well, what was it that kick-started the rejuvenation of the NHS? And I can say, my little show.
You'll never guess who's just come in. Who?
Of course, originally, the show was set at a police station.
In front of me.
And it was Jimmy Bolam who pointed out, he said, well, why on earth would you have 3 beds and a doctor in a police station?
Who's Gloria Robbins? Well,
and I will say that as rehearsals went on, it did become more and more difficult to explain away the dressing gowns.
I knew you couldn't have forgotten.
No, she was a pain.
I mean, I suppose CID, something like that, maybe you may plain clothes, but we were trying to convey a busy sort of urban station, and in that sense I think it sent the audience the wrong way. So well done, Jimmy, for coming up with that. Wonderful actor, Jimmy, wonderful actor. One of the first of what I call the northern actors to break through. Sort of the angry young northerners. One thinks of Jimmy Bolam, Anton Deck, Philip Schofield, and that whole school of northern realism, the Ken Loach, sort of Cathy Comes Home, Kes, Hollyoaks. I always find Hollyoaks very difficult to watch, as I don't get home till about 8.
We saw someone's legs. We don't know they were
Wish they'd put it on at a more reasonable time. Are you listening, powerful bees?
Can I just pop down there and say hello?
Well, where is she?
And alongside Bolam, there he is.
Talk about privilege.
It's the master, Peter Bowles. Dear friend of mine. Actually, came to the audition in his dressing gown. That's how Peter likes to relax. And of course, at the time, he was riding high on the success of Rocky III. Wasn't in it because he'd been to see it that afternoon. Told me he'd had a smashing time.
Now, if we're talking about likenesses, what about this face? Doesn't it strike a chord?
No.
What does it remind
Talking
you?
about striking a chord.
Clint Eastwood?
This whole series for me was double-edged sword, brought back a lot of very unpleasant memories.
Don't I look like Clint Eastwood?
My own spell in hospital. I was sectioned. There we are. I won't try and avoid it. I was sectioned. For my own good, I became convinced that I was Lester Piggott.
Hey, Archie, where are you going with my flowers?
Very traumatic time, but every crowd has a silver lining. On the downside, I was forcibly restrained by up to 10, combination of 10 policemen and medics. But on the plus side, I came second in the 4:15 at Haydock Park.
Could be my big chance. I've
And,
always
didn't pay tax on the winnings.
you.
And I met Ringo
I
Starr.
was quite good at school. I had the lead in Romeo and Juliet.
I'm sorry, Norman, I just don't see you as a Romeo.
No, actually, I played Juliet.
Yes, now this was something that I fought tooth and nail for. I think up until this point,
You had to say Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art
I hadn't really confronted transvestism head-on in the mainstream cinema. This was the days before Crying Game, Mrs. Doubtfire, Peak Practice.
charisma. You're worse than
And I don't think I'd have done it without the encouragement of that man. Jimmy's always pushing the envelope. Done it throughout his career. You think of Crocodile Shoes, Spender, Au Revoir Pet.
You're just talking, Doctor. I understand we have a celebrity in our midst.
Yeah, you've heard already.
And there he is. There's the celebrity.
Here's Gloria Roberts.
One of my favourite comic actors, Victor Meldrew.
You mean it's a catch?
And of course this was some years before he went on to My Feet in the Grave, playing Angus Deaton's neighbour. No wonder he was irritable. Parties, morning, noon and night. gangster rap blaring through the walls.
Directors out of tension and overwork. Show business isn't all tinsel and glitter, you know.
Have I got news for you? Yes, I'm moving.
She needs rest.
That's a nice shot. Classic Delane too. Contrast in the height, the positions.
She's still beautiful, isn't she, Doctor?
Well done, Peter Davison.
Magnificent creature, Norman.
And of course the reason I had the beds was to allow my actors to use their bodies. And there we are, look at Jimmy. Coming up to his, look at that, using his knees. Now how many actors can use their knees like that? Well, I can think of 3. Jimmy Bolam, Jimmy Nesbitt, and Martin Kemp. Wonderful knee work from Martin. Done a lot of his best stuff with his knees. He absolutely revitalised the Rovers'
I
return.
assure you, Figures, my approach will be purely professional.
Ah, the role of Gupta. Something of a racial hot potato. In the original script, of course, he was a Welshman. I didn't feel that mainstream audiences are ready for that, and so we made him Jamaican.
Patients by their ailments, Gupta.
That's a nice shot. That's restrained too. And look at the background there. You see the signs on the background. I was very keen on authenticity, and those signs actually came from St. Mary's in Paddington.
How do I look?
It was caused absolute chaos. Patients not knowing which way to go. But only 3 fatalities.
I think she's taken a liking.
And as the judge said, Mr. Delane, you could never have foreseen the consequences of your actions, and you leave this court with not a stain on your character.
Oh, she's not alone.
Thoughts of the families.
What?
I'm so glad you came. I don't feel so alone now. I was really rather nervous.
Oh, don't be nervous.
This was a super scene. Wonderful scene. Romantic comedy, I think my first love.
Bite on the bullet.
Well, I say my first love, actually it's not true. My first love is cockfighting.
The cruel earth.
So romantic comedy runs at a close second.
That old thing.
Yes, it must have been in 1950.
Yes, I was just a child.
And difficult for me, because I was going through a rather messy divorce. My third wife, Eileen, very unreasonable woman. Eileen Delane, knee bone.
Exactly the same feeling.
And I was coming in an absolute wreck in the mornings, the 2 of us trying to run a restaurant together, and she wasn't pulling her weight. Floods and chefs walking out and me doing what I could.
Look closely.
And he was wonderful, Peter, very kindly. Offered me a shoulder to cry on.
No, I mean, try and imagine.
Not his own, it was the shoulder of his chauffeur, Colin. A remarkable man who had driven Tommy Cooper.
No, I'm not quite
Driven
sure.
Tommy Cooper mad with this constant jabbering.
Yes, of course. Yeah, an uncanny resemblance. Yes. Have you ever done
Peter's a remarkable
Well,
source of strength. People don't realise about him, of course, he takes great solace from Eastern philosophy. He's a very spiritual man. And I remember him very quietly advising me to align my chakras and balance my chi. And that was very helpful. I went away with Peter's advice ringing in my ears. Not just Peter's advice, because by now the tinnitus had taken a rather devilish grip. And I squirreled away my money and was able to convince the court that I didn't have a penny. After which I faced Eileen and crushed her. Still remember her outside the courtroom with our 3 young children, tears streaming down her face. I don't believe it.
Someday I'm gonna write the story of my life.
Welcome to this director's commentary for Bonanza. And nothing says the Wild West more than a villain with a gun, a cowboy with a book. Absolutely engrossed. Horse riding for beginners. Heels down, toes up, tall in the saddle. Oh dear. Ooh. These Bonanza librarians don't mess about. That book was 2 weeks overdue. We've sent you a letter. That's a nice shot. 2 who's and a rain. Yeah, not a hair out of place. In case you're wondering, yes it is. And that book now surely has been damaged. And our man knows that when he gets to the library, his ticket will almost undoubtedly be confiscated. And unless I'm greatly mistaken, yes, that's a small fine. Hello, my name is Peter Delane, and welcome to this director's commentary for Bonanza. These wonderful, wonderful opening titles that tell us of a good hour's entertainment ahead. And here are some of my dearest friends. Lorne Greene, Dan Blocker, Michael Landon, and Dan Blocker.
The dead burn.
Of course, this is a period of my life that I cover in some detail in Volume 2 of my autobiography. That's Me, which takes in the Bonanza years, and Wives 1 through 3.
Hey, there's some pages here that ain't tore. Mind if I read it?
This season of Bonanza was shot during the Depression, the Great Depression of '68. I was very low. Dark days, which are dealt with in an unflinching manner in the book, which is still available on Amazon.com. Customers who bought this book also bought Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. My God, that boy can write.
Well, Ben, this is the first I heard that Adam had been shot, but
I'm on Amazon virtually every night, ordering books. Secure server. Second World War is my specialist subject because, of course, my father featured prominently in the Second World War, and he's a hero of mine. I have many of his possessions. Pistol that he used, wonderful coat, and I don't think there's enough money on earth to make me part with his Iron Cross. I think the irony of the thing is that I purchased so many of these books on Amazon because he and so many of his friends now live somewhere in South America, sitting around at night, exchanging war stories, plotting. Long time since he and I have sat face to face, but Papa, mine Papa, if you are listening, Klaus von der Leyen III, it's as you predicted. The wall has come down, the fatherland is won. So not long now.
I just came out to say goodbye to you, that's all.
That's a nice shot. Heads back and forth. It's ping pong.
Your clothes, all the clothes you got back in your room.
It was around this time also that I was working with a young Anthony Hopkins
Make sure you come back.
on an early version of his wonderful film The Bear.
Come back and visit us real soon.
A piece called The Skunk, in which he and Richard Burton were camping in the Yosemite Mountains and were plagued by this skunk. I've always enjoyed bringing off young talent. And here's someone, one of his first roles on the left. Who's that? It's a young Ricky Gervais.
I reckon.
Giving us an early view of the comic genius that we've come to appreciate as Gareth in The Office. Difficult scene for Ricky, this one, because bereft of neckwear, it's a whole 10 minutes without touching his tie.
You don't comfort.
Oh, Finchy.
None at all.
Oh, Dawn. Oh, Tim. Oh, Margot. Oh, Tom. Nice wit work. Jermaine's own. Right, give me a 1. Go to a 2. Back to a 1. And a raised 4. That's nice. Thank you, studio.
I'm the law.
So I'm trying to convey a sense of restlessness. Easy. And look what I've done with the hats. I got 4 10-gallon hats. That's 40 gallons of hats. What I call a full tank. Enough to get you to York and back. Enter girl on horse. Memo to self.
They didn't even try.
That's a nice shot. 2.1 man in back. What we call an ABBA.
You all right? They didn't hurt you none, did they?
Oh, they didn't hurt me none. They give me these clothes, though, and a lot of pretty things. Graham, it was nice.
Oh, dear. Jermaine's not happy about that. Daughter's got herself all glammed up for a man.
None of that stuff.
And as we know, all men are bastards.
A huzzy shirt.
And Jermaine quite proud there of her own appearance, sort of bushwhacker look. I think she's probably going to tell the young girl to burn the shirt, and while you're at it, burn your bra as
Gran,
well.
they was good to me. Well, they even asked me to come back and visit.
Sisters are doing it for themselves.
The ones that killed you.
There must be an angel playing with my heart. Love is a stranger.
Kill the one that done it.
Soap is a stranger. And that's nice. A 2 minus 1. Well done, Peter. Nice wide. One on the one centre. Leave left. Thank you, studio. And that's a nice shot. This actually filmed at Snowdonia, just outside Cardiff, at an Eisteddfod that I was asked to referee. Eisteddfod, of course, the Welsh word, something or other. Nice use of hats. Not the horse. Tried that, didn't work. Meanwhile, the early days of Centre Parks, and the bank holiday weekend hasn't gone quite as planned.
Now, who do you reckon this might be?
Kayaking called off due to bad weather. Someone put a porcupine in the ball pond. And baby crying in Chalet 9.
Pretty. It was a pretty little fella that killed Jeb.
That's a nice shot. That's a nice 3 with wood.
Don't know this team.
Into a 1.
Got a feeling in my bones.
Now let's change that to a 2. That's
Little
nice.
Outlaw told you.
You know, the powerful bees were
now.
against me
Back
casting
off in
Noel
wood.
Gallagher.
Feels like it's up to me.
They didn't
to
feel
figure
that he had the
What's that,
requisite acting skills, but he was wonderful. And there he is, standing behind the original Wonder Wall.
Have me some fun killing
I suppose more of a timber wall.
the fella that killed my brother.
But this is where he had the original idea, and look at the way he walks. That man's grown up on the mean streets of Manchester. And in comes little Joe.
Looking for somebody, stranger?
Yes, nice bum.
A family named Hode.
Well, more of a hobo than a bum, I suppose, but Noel gets to the heart of it.
Grandma Hode.
And I'm giving you now classic conflict, classic
I
drama.
think I'd rather talk to her.
Look at this. All in the eyes, I'm moving in on the
Say
faces.
it to me.
And this scene now becomes eerily reminiscent of that wonderful scene
Well, I don't think I will.
in that great Ron Howard
to
film,
me like you
Heat.
want trouble and I don't.
Robert De Niro and Al Pacino
Enably, I'll let you go away
squaring
without
off against
you,
each
will.
other over the coffee
I'll be
table.
back when I can talk
No
to her.
words are needed,
Oh, don't be in
and
a
yet
hurry,
they
neighbor.
say
Take
so
that
much
now.
with their words, so they use them.
You come here looking
The
for somebody
eyes
to shot your brother,
dancing.
ain't that right?
De Niro,
Well, you
the
can
master
have my
builder.
shot.
Pacino, the blind
shoot
school
me.
teacher.
My
Hoo-ha!
brother Jeb.
I'll make you an offer you can't
Got a shooting coming
refuse.
to you?
Wonderful, wonderful acting, and that's the
brother
kind of
Jeff
thing I was
should
trying
come
to
back.
get here, and I think I got.
He
Look at the
missed
hat,
my
look at the
way.
hat.
That's right again.
Little Joe's hat, 10-gallon hat,
And I had to kill him.
been sat on by Hoss.
Nothing else I could have done.
Dear, dear Dan Blocker.
I figured it was you. I felt it in my bones.
Oh, yes, that's arthritis. That's why Noel moved to California in the
I'm gonna
first
get on my
place.
horse and I'm
In
gonna ride
Manchester, rainiest city in Europe.
Like I said, I don't want any trouble.
Nice cock.
Don't try it. You raise that gun, I'm gonna have to kill you.
Our brother's been killed, there's a man with a gun. What do we do? Come out from behind our protective wall. And I had all sorts of guns in this set. Pistols, rifles, I mean firearms of all descriptions, bangs going everywhere. And so I got in the very best man to advise us. I brought in a very young Darren Brown.
You fast.
And with him I knew we were safe.
I did
Because of course he won't go anywhere near a real bullet.
But he was bound to kill me.
It was wonderful fun, though, on the set, I will say.
Try it.
Doing all his little tricks. I remember he came up to me one day with a sheet of paper. He said, right, don't let me look at
Going out of
this,
here now.
but write down
I don't want anybody
an
to
odd
meet me.
number between 2 and 4.
I'll come after you.
And do you know what? He got it right.
You can't go far enough away. You'll die for this. and
God
your
knows how he
family will
does
die
it.
For the trick he played me.
Nice ass. Actually more of a mule, isn't it?
What kind
Well,
of
I'm afraid we've reached the end of our series.
That man
I've
killed
enjoyed
my
these
brother and
strolls
you
down
know
memory
that.
lane, but I'm now returning to my first love, which is film. I think film is my medium, film is where I'm happiest, and I promise you this, if you drop off by 12, I'll have them ready by 1. Glossy or matte, with an extra set for free. Bye-bye.
Someday I'm gonna write the story of my life.
Down the front of my shirt like an absolute fish's ass. Carry on. Hello, my name is Peter Delane, and welcome to this director's commentary for Flambards. I do hope that over the next half an hour or so I can take you by the hand and lead you up to the peaks behind the scenes on this show which I think is held dearly in the memory of all of those that record it.
It's flying, William! It's
And this is a classic signature opening for a Delane show. A kite. Dripping in symbolism.
Hard, you'll frighten it.
For me, of course, bringing back so many memories of childhood. My father, a wonderful kite enthusiast.
Escape.
I, to this day, collect them with a true venom. All over the world, I now have 3, which I store at my home in Bath. And of course, wonderful childhood memories of Sunday mornings on Bulbury Down.
William!
Papa would take my brother Wolf and I out, and we'd arrive, assemble the kite.
William,
Then the moment would arrive.
what's Violet?
Peter, Father would say, and I would walk 100 paces
job, that's for sure.
Then they won't have any money.
from where I was able to watch Father and Wolf enjoying the kite together.
I dare say he sends all he can.
And then, as a treat for my 7th birthday,
We've got to do something.
it was decided that I, Peter, could launch the kite. Wonderful memories. Holding the box kite high above my head, the wind whipping at my bare legs. My father had been a keen naturist all his life, and it was something he wanted to instill in Wolf and I. Wonderful sensation as the wind caught the kite. It soared 150 feet into the air.
Now,
So many of my friends say that they wish their father had said to them as a child, "I love you."
the Russell family doesn't stop at
I wish that my father had said to me, "Let go of the kite," sooner than he did. But the thing that surviving a naked 130-foot fall to the ground gives you is a sense that anything is possible. And, of course, a crippling fear of heights. And trees. And grass. And bright colour. I can't tolerate bright colour.
To you, then.
Happy days. Were just around the corner, but of course I couldn't see it myself. That's a nice shot. Doorway with ivy. Quick pan, well done Denny, and running. Very symbolic. A little bit of uncertainty. Will I, won't I? Oh, I think I will. Knock, knock. Who's there? Christine. Christine who? Christine McKenna. I know that. I cast her, you silly thing. Now, this is an interesting look to the rooms, isn't it? Look at this. Now, not what I'd wanted. This was originally a rather beautiful 2 up, 2 down in Shropshire. But I'd given a job to a very young Linda Barker. Oh, dear me. And she did this in half an hour. Stripped it bare. Crew were up in arms, but I won't have a word said against her. You know, if you're looking for a reasonably priced microwave, then Linda's your girl. But of course it put pressure on us. We didn't want to let her get her hands on the rest of the set. So poor Christine here is having to run like Billy-O to the next room. Will she get there before Linda has had a chance? Look at that, we had to get a shot looking through flowers. We didn't have time to do anything else. Don't let Linda get to the room. That was the cry.
It's to let.
So we look safe. What you can't see, of course, is that Linda is behind the camera scraping off the wallpaper. And our actress, the wonderful Martha Kent there, covering up the bed for fear that Linda might try and paint the mattress. Oh, wonderful days, wonderful days. That's a nice classic Delane 2-shot Well, it's a 4, really, isn't it? It's a 2 and a 2. 2 horses and 2 humans. I tried to include horses as often as possible because that was something that my father instilled in me. I would go out on the downs with Father and Wolf, racing on horses. Father's voice ringing in my ears. Schnell, Peter, schnell! And that was Father at his happiest, with his boys. Mein Liebling, Wolf. Ein Dummkopf, Peter. We really were the apples of his eyes. And here's a super scene. A fight scene, for which I drew upon my memories of school where I was the victim of some vicious attacks in the playground. Bell would ring for playtime, my stomach would lurch, and I would be encountered by some of the bigger boys. Some very big boys who I later discovered were actually teachers who would go and change into school uniform so as not to be apprehended. And they would set about me with a savagery that rings in me to this day. I would be left to scurry away with my tail between my legs. I think with hindsight it was the tail that attracted them. In the first place, I would do what I could to hide it, stuff it down my shorts, but the end would poke out. Oi, Tigger! They'd call and set about me. But it's lent me with a wonderful mastery of the fight scene, to the point at which Quentin Tarantino said that a lot of Shoot Bill was inspired by this episode of Flambards. And I look upon it now as some of my best work. Wonderful. That side saddle, that's not easy. Many people have said that I let the fight go on a little bit too long, but no, I've left it. Oh, yeah. I think they may have been right.
Dick? Dick is used to work here.
Yes.
Nice shot. Christina up on the horse. Derek Graves, chewing as ever.
Don't know. Do something.
Christina was an amateur beekeeper, used to keep bees in her trailer. And she insisted on wearing the mask at all times.
Dick just heard what happened.
Also, I think to protect her from Derek's straw that he would keep in his mouth, because of course he would, oh my word, we're still doing this. This was a mistake. And when I've seen Rocky films that were shorter than this. But on with the story. Start the next scene with Bruce Forsyth. Yes, who would never sit where he was told to. There he is. Yes, he thought that was very amusing. And you see the decanter there. Now, that was from Timothy Travers and Dominic Gillespie, props. Very happy couple, just opened a glass store in Brydon and said we could use the decanter as long as we featured it prominently, and against my better judgment, I agreed. There it is. There it is again. There it is again. And again. And again. And again. And again. Bruce still having a jolly good chuckle. At my expense. Actually fell out over that. And I've not spoken to him since. I've tried. Can't get a word in edgeways. Oh, I love... Does love the sound of his voice. Now we're building towards the end of the episode. And if old Peter Delane has done his job properly, and I have, then you, the audience, you the proles, you the plebs, you're on the edge of your seat now wondering what's going to happen.
Not really.
And listen to that. Listen to the drumming. Boom, 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 boom. Wonderful drum work from a young Rick Allen, who went on, of course, to play the drummer in all the Def Leppard movies.
Shall I stay?
Shall I stay? Or shall I go? It's the Clash. It's the beginning of punk. We're challenging. We're knocking down walls. And look what I'm doing with hands! Look what I'm doing with hands! Hands. Touching hands. Come on, come on. Reaching out. Touching me. touching you, sweet Caroline. Good times never seem so good. I've been... You know, the secret to directing a touching scene like this is... Oh, we're out of time.
Someday I'm gonna write the story of my life. I'll tell about the night we met, and how my heart can forget the way you smiled at me.